guys, today's video is on processing with the Lord and what that can look like. So keep on watching to hear what I have to say. So this is the secret place idea. If you are unfamiliar with the secret place, I will link a video on the bottom that explains it. In a nutshell, the secret place is just your intimate time with the Lord. And there's so many things to do with God. One thing that I do is I process with Him. If you could go inside of my head, you would know that there are a lot of things going on and a lot of questions, and there's just like a lot of things that I just need to just process. And so I started maybe 2 or 3 years doing this. So I grabbed my journal, and this exercise is typically when I've got a lot in my mind. Okay, this is where I can't even concentrate. Like I can't even open up the Bible because my mind's just spinning. And so what I do, and I just made up random questions, okay? And I put it on a piece of paper. I didn't put it in my journal. But we can just pretend that this is a journal, okay? So I would grab my journal, and what I would do is whatever is going on in my head, I am writing out either a question that I need help with or just a statement on just me needing to process. And so what I do is I list out the question that I have or the thing that I need help with. I leave space, and then I keep on going. And so usually I will have, 2 or 3 or 4 journal pages of questions. So I just try to put myself in some people's shoes that I know who watch this YouTube channel, or just, any questions that just random people could have. So here we go. Let's just start with right here. Okay, Jesus. How do I handle school and work? I think a lot of people who are in school right now, that can just be a hard thing. Like they're working and they have school and they feel overwhelmed and they don't know what to do. And so that could be a question that's just going on in your head. So write out that question, leave space. Don't worry about answering the question yet. Just write that question. Maybe you're going on internship and you just don't know where you're going or where you should apply or whatever. This would be more like school based, okay? So writing out that question. Here we are, where should I apply? This could be like if you're, looking for a new job, like I don't even know where to start. God, where should I apply? How do I handle a work situation? Maybe you're in a work environment and there's just some, crap hit the fan and you're like, I don't even know what to do. Putting that question down. Another one is, God, do I put my daughter in public school or do I put her in private school? Like, what do I do? God, are you even real? Like, where are you? These questions could be anything. They could be all specifically on one thing. Like there's times with the ministry, all my questions are just ministry related. Like, Lord, like some of my questions right now is, do you want us to rent a building or should we try and find someone who will just give us space like at our church or whatnot? Lord, how many women can I handle? How many can I work with? Jesus, how should we raise support? God, we want to do a banquet. What month should we do it in? There's just questions beyond questions just with the ministry. And so me writing them down and then, giving space for each one, just listing out the questions could be helpful. Maybe you're in a situation and you are looking for a new job. Your theme could just be like all your questions and the things that you need to process could just be about work. Like, Lord, I applied to such and such place, but I haven't heard back. Like, I'm feeling anxious about this. Like, what do you say about this? Like, if I don't get hired here, where should I move on to? Like, what do you want me to do? Lord, like, if I don't get hired, I'm not going to have any income. Like, how am I going to pay my bills? Like, there's just so many questions. You could be a mother, and you could have questions on just raising your children. Like the questions could be just centered around your kids. It could be you going through a health situation and you're not sure on, do I go on this medicine? Do I not go on this medicine? Should I see this doctor, that doctor? we are bombarded with questions and all these things that we can feel really overwhelmed. But I promise you, well, I'm thinking I'm going to promise you, if you just get the questions out, you're going to feel better, okay? Like, at least I do. And so I'm going to encourage you, like, if there is a lot on your plate right now and you've got a lot of questions, I would grab your journal, grab your computer, whatever it is, and just start listing them out, leave that space, and that would be the first step on processing with the Lord, okay? So now it's going to be time for the Lord to rush in or walk in. Sometimes he's not really quick at answering us, but now it's just waiting to just hear from the Lord. And sometimes when I've done this type of exercise, you guys, like sometimes right away he'll start to answer me. Like I'm getting downloads right away. Sometimes it's weeks or even months that I don't get a question answered. One of them that I asked him was if our ministry was supposed to be a nonprofit or like an LLC. It took him 2 years to get back to me on that one, okay? And so just know, gotta love my coffee. Yeah, just know that the Lord sometimes doesn't answer right away, but he will answer. So now you're probably wondering, okay, that sounds like a great idea, Ashley, but how do I know if it's God? Like, I could try this exercise, but I'm not secure in the Lord's voice. Well, you're not alone there, okay? And I need to do many more clips on this because this is such a mass topic on hearing from the Lord and knowing it's him and not you and whatnot, but I got to give you a little something to just go home with, right? And so one of the things that I'll always do is I'll ask myself, okay, what I'm hearing, okay, am I hearing a gentle voice? Am I hearing a loving voice? Am I hearing compassion? Am I hearing patience? Like anything good, okay, good. Like that's a good, just clue that that's God, okay? Like he speaks with love, he speaks with tenderness, okay? His voice will not be a condemning, a tummy twisting, confusing, shameful voice, okay? Like that's not God. He is good, okay? Another thing that you could do is the fruits of the Spirit. That's in Galatians. I won't remember them all, but like the fruits of the Spirit is like love and kindness and patience and whatnot. God has to represent those scriptures. So that's another thing. Like what you're hearing, is it aligning with the fruits of the Spirit? So now, what happens if you're going to the Lord though, and it doesn't, like what you need his input on, it's more concrete. Like, do I apply for Michael's or do I apply for Hobby Lobby? You know what I mean? Like his voice could be sweet and kind with anyone. So then it's like, okay, like what do you do there? What do you do when it's more of a, you're hearing something like you're like, okay, you're sensing it's Hobby Lobby and it's not Michael's, like, and his voice is sweet and it's kind, but you're like, I still want some more input. I would linger a little bit, okay? So if it's one of those questions where it's like, where do I apply? Do I send my, children to private school or a public school? Or, when it's more of like a concrete type of a question, once you're sensing what you're supposed to do, then linger there for a while and just be like, okay, God, I'm gonna sit on this for a few days, and I'm just gonna trust, that I'm sensing, Hobby Lobby. But if you're saying no, I need you to close that door, and asking him to like confirm whatever he's telling you. Be like, okay, God, I sense you're saying public school. I sense you're saying Hobby Lobby, but I need you to confirm because I'm not quite sure. So ask him to confirm, and he can confirm in so many ways. He could confirm through a friend of yours, through a sermon, through nature, through a dream. I mean, don't put him in a box, okay? So ask for him just to confirm to you, what it is that you're hearing. That could be another tip. Another idea is find someone that does hear from the Lord and process with them. You know, maybe this is, I don't know if you go to church or not. You might not go to church. But maybe someone at your church, you could like, hey, I'm sensing the Lord is saying this. Like, does this sit well in you? Maybe you don't go to church, okay? But, you know, maybe I would hope there is a Christian in your life that you could process with. If not, well, you just comment below and we'll figure something out, okay? But hopefully you've got someone that you can talk to and process with, because then, you know, you could bounce ideas off of someone who can hear from the Lord as well, and that could help. So processing with another person could be helpful. And another idea is, does it align with Scripture? Like what you're hearing, could you find Scripture to back up what it's saying? You know, and it doesn't have to be word for word, but does it align with the theme of Scripture? And so those are just a couple of ideas. I know literally we could talk for hours and hours on the voice of the Lord, but those are just a couple little nuggets. And then finally, what I do is this: after all said and done, for example, like going nonprofit with our ministry versus LLC, I'm like, okay, God, I'm sensing, this is what I'm sensing. I've talked to my husband about it. He's sensing the same thing. And we're just going to step out in faith now. Okay. Like, God, if we're wrong, sorry, but I think this is what you want. And now we're just going to step out in faith and just go for it. And so that would be true for you if it's like, you know, do I apply here or there, public school, private school, whatever it is, you know, like, okay, God, I've talked to you and I've processed with you, and now I'm sensing this is what I'm supposed to do, so I'm going to step out in faith. So just dialoguing with him like, okay, I'm going to go for it. Okay, and go for it. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.